This is Jeremy. Welcome to Eighthworld. Hello, and welcome to the first regular episode of Eighthworld. Thank you for giving me a listen. Today I want to focus my discussion on a current streaming series that a lot of us are enjoying, I'm sure, Star Trek Picard. Fair warning, this episode will likely include spoilers for the first couple of episodes of Picard. To begin, I offer a thesis. The criticism that new Star Trek, namely Discovery and Picard, lacks the same spirit as classic Star Trek is entirely without merit. Star Trek has always been about not only solving problems with science and diplomacy over violence, not always successfully, but about plumbing the depths of the human spirit to grant us a better understanding of ourselves and what makes us great or terrible people. What Picard succeeds in is something I am happy to see in this day and age: integrity. The best examples of this are demonstrated front and center in the first episode of the series during the masterful interview scene. Seriously, Patrick Stewart should win awards just for this one speech. If he doesn't, it will be a crime. Despite growing societal prejudices across the Federation against synthetic life, Picard remains steadfast in his loyalty to the memory of Data. He honors his dearly departed friend and defends his legacy, quite literally by the end of the first episode. Picard finds new purpose in tracking down and protecting Data's remaining daughter. Another point laid out on the table during the interview is Picard's loss of faith in Starfleet. That Jean-Luc Picard, champion of the Federation's highest ideals, can become disillusioned with the institutions he had dedicated his entire adult life to is telling. I can see this being one of the biggest sticking points for the show in the minds of those already prejudiced against it. But I do have to ask, is it so unbelievable that someone can utterly lose faith in and feel betrayed by someone or something they've always known? In Picard's example, Starfleet has changed. It has lost its way, its honor, its courage. I think, at the barest parallel that can be drawn here, a great many viewers have become disillusioned with some institution in their lives, whether it be their own families, their jobs, their schools, their religions, or their nations. I, for one, once wanted to become an English professor until I saw how petty the interpersonal politics were that I would have to navigate in order to make a place for myself. I felt like a man of integrity in a den of thieves. I think these kinds of doubts we all face in our lives are wonderful ideas for Star Trek to explore, and I have no issues with Star Trek showing off the hidden blemishes of the Federation either. There is no historical precedent in our world for a system of government conceived of as fair and equal that remains that way. There is certainly no perfect system in play today. I am an American and consider myself a patriot, but I cannot deny I feel that the United States is not on every right path it could be, despite being a beautiful experiment in free and equal representative government. I am American and wish to be nothing else. It is my right and responsibility to criticize my government, and especially its leaders, but that's a can of worms better suited to another episode. Returning more specifically to Star Trek, even before Section 31 reared its inconvenient but necessary head in Deep Space Nine, we had the Maquis. What sparked the Maquis rebellion? The Federation all but abandoning border colonies to the Cardassians to avoid another costly war that ended up coming anyway less than a decade later. Seriously, these people in the Maquis had every right to rise up. Their lives were basically treated like bargaining chips in a great galactic poker game. And if you're still one of those people who tries to argue that Deep Space Nine is the outlier, un-Roddenberry-esque Star Trek, well then you must not remember Ro Laren. The Maquis started in the Next Generation. All I am trying to say is that Star Trek doesn't actually present the squeaky clean status quo a lot of people are determined to see, and never truly has. Even in the original series, and despite Gene Roddenberry's golden rule that there be no conflict among the main characters of the show, how many times did we chortle or grin at some backhanded exchange between Spock and Dr. McCoy? Many people will reluctantly point a finger at the good Southern doctor and shout racism, but how many people have ever felt uncomfortable at the fact that not only Spock in these moments, but very nearly every Vulcan shown on screen is racist and condescending towards humans? Deep Space Nine, again, makes a wonderful presentation of this in the episode Take Me Out to the Holosuite, with Captain Sisko's old Academy rival, Captain Solak. Solak has, without any apparent official protestations, filled his entire Vulcan-named starship, the Tecumseh, with an entirely Vulcan crew. Solak seems to have made it his life's mission to show up humans at every opportunity, even at baseball, which is a frivolous detail that causes a lot of fans to dismiss this episode without really analyzing it. Now, I'm sure there are more examples I could cite, but I only want to plant the seed in your thoughts that Star Trek has never truly given us a sparkling, perfect utopia. What makes the Federation compelling and successful, however, is that it grows and evolves. It has room for everyone in it, even the people we disagree with. Perhaps let this seed grow as you continue to watch both Picard and Discovery. Thank you for listening. Next episode, I think I will talk a little bit about Star Trek Discovery. To do this, I'll repurpose a blog post I wrote during Discovery's second season. It'll be a lot of fun. Now to housekeeping details. Eighthworld is a twice-monthly podcast hosted by Jeremy DeFada. It focuses on fiction, reality, and the places where they meet. Eighthworld has been and always shall be partnered with and sponsored by Misplaced Muse Creative. Misplaced Muse Creative is a wonderful source for bookish gifts, wax goods, and hot beverages. Check the episode description for links. This has been Jeremy, and thanks again.